Hey everybody, Chris Olka here with another drill of the week. This is drill of the week number 25, global warming, up or down. So let's jump right in. So I've been working on this drill for about a week or so, kind of as an experiment to see if I could craft a warm-up for the ensemble tuba player, whether you play in an orchestra or a wind ensemble or a band. I wanted to create this warm-up that would get you ready to do your job in the ensemble without being terribly time-consuming or taxing to the muscles of the embouchure. I wanted to, get the face warmed up, get the airstream prepared, and get your mind calm and focused on making the donuts in the back row, playing whole notes and half notes and sustained passages and loud playing and soft playing, all while saving time on the clock if you didn't have 30 minutes to do a dirty 30 or an hour to do a fundamentals practice session. So I started messing around with some intervals and stumbled upon one that I felt was very effective. And it's, for me, I call it the magical minor third. There's something that's really pleasant to me about the sound of a descending minor third or an ascending. It's easy on my ear, and it's not such a wide interval that it's difficult to play. It's low-hanging fruit. It's easy to play. So I started doing this and making series of them that were progressively more and more extended and a little bit more difficult. And I found over the period of this week of experimenting with this that depending on how you approached it, it also turned into be quite an effective warm down drill as well. Hence the idea global warming up or down. Get the pun? So let's jump into the warm-up component of it. It's basically just a series of descending minor thirds slurred together. You start off in 2-note groups, and then eventually you graduate onto 4-note groups, and then 6-note groups, then 8-note groups, then 12-note groups, all the way until you play a complete series all in one breath, slurred. And you do this both descending and alternating ascending in the patterns, as you'll hear in the videos. I try to aim for a general dynamic between mezzo piano and mezzo forte. Not too loud, not too soft. As you start stringing more notes together, out of necessity, you're going to have to do two things. You're going to have to speed up the speed of the notes so as you add more of them, and you're going to progressively have to play softer and softer. You're not going to have to play pianissimo, but you're going to have to play softly with control in the low register, and then as you start ascending into the middle register as well. That cash register that we spend most of our time as tubists playing in the back row of an ensemble. So a couple of key things to keep in mind while you're doing it as a warm-up. Probably the most important thing is do not use a shifted low register embouchure while you're playing this. I started it intentionally on a low C, and it finishes on a pedal C, 2 octaves below the bass clef staff, because I find that for the vast majority of tuba players, myself included, about the lowest note that we can comfortably play without using a shift is around pedal C to pedal B flat, a whole step below that. And I find that that applies to people that play on B flat tuba, C tuba, E flat tuba, F tuba, without going into a shifted low register embouchure. It's difficult to play much lower with any kind of control or quality of tone below a pedal B flat. There's exceptions to that rule, of course, but I find that's generally most of us out there. So when you're playing there, fight the tendency to want to manipulate your embouchure more than is necessary to get the notes to come out. Try and replicate what I call the regular embouchure, the one that you use for the majority of your playing. Another thing is, as you start adding more notes to this pattern, stay relaxed. Take big relaxed breaths and then just release them. When I say release them, I should say let them happen organically. It should be like a circular motion. Breathe in and out with no respiratory pause at the top. You just take the air in and blow it right back out with no tension. Maximum relaxation, while also being sure not to use too much mouthpiece pressure. As you start descending, the only way that you'll keep that buzz going is if you have firm corners, but a relaxed embouchure, and not too much mouthpiece pressure so that you're trapping your lips and not allowing them to vibrate. Play through all 12 series as a warm-up. The descending patterns are odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. And the ascending patterns are the even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. There's 12 series in the drill. If you play through all of them once, it'll take you between 5 and 10 minutes, let's say. You know, take a break as needed, look at your phone, I don't care, but they shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to play through this entire drill. And voila, you're warmed up and ready to go. That's the warm-up component of global warming up. So now let's talk about the warm-down component of this drill. And before I get into the specifics of how I use this drill as a warm-down, I need to address the importance of a warm-down. Everybody understands why you warm up. You don't expect a muscle to perform at its optimum level if it's got, you know, if it's cold, if it's stiff, and it doesn't have a ready supply of oxygenated blood circulating through that tissue. We get that. But warming down, it's something that's not talked about a whole lot, and it's a thing that I've always really felt very strongly about doing, and unfortunately have kind of fallen out of the habit of doing it up until just very recently. When I worked for years at Disney as a musician, marching around and, you know, having a pretty strenuous performing schedule, and then subsequently joining an orchestra in Seattle, I used to warm down on a regular basis. And I didn't really think much about it. But I fell out of the habit of doing it because a lot of times when you get done with a concert, as busy as you can be in a professional orchestra, man, when you're done with that last note, it's beer 30, it's time to get home. And you kind of neglect that quality time at the end of the day. So the importance comes from two things. The first thing is physical. When you've been, you know, strenuously exerting yourself in a playing capacity, the muscles of your embouchure build up lactic acid and other toxins as a result of that muscular contraction and use. And if done properly, a warm down allows your body to flush those toxins out of the tissues of the embouchure. So from a physiological standpoint, that's why you do a warm down. Equally as important, if not more important, is the mental aspect of warming down, which, again, if done properly, it just allows you to get away from the stress of performing or practicing in the practice room and spend some time, some quality time with the one that you love, you know, doing the thing that you enjoy, which is making a beautiful, lovely tone without any other concern, It's like meditation at the end of your playing day. And I find that if you do it consistently, the next day when you go to start your next day's playing, that your embouchure will be there for you. Mentally, you'll be in a good place because the last time you put the tuba down, you were making a beautiful singing sound. And that sets the stage for making a beautiful singing sound first notes of the day, the next day. So those are the reasons why you do a warm down. Now, for this drill, I encourage people to use it as a warm down by only doing the odd number series. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Do each of them once or twice until you do it, you know, successfully initially in the learning phases of this. But when you get to the very last one, do it 2 or 3 or 4 times. It's just very relaxing. It's like petting a cat. You know, it's just all the cares of the world you're leaving behind with every stroke of your feline friend. And I find that this last series, number 11, in the soft low descending thirds pattern. It's just very pleasant, and it helps me mentally unwind and physically unwind from the playing of the day. So that's the warm down component of global warming up or down. So in closing, there's a few things I want to say before we get on to the playing part of this drill, which is that number 25 will constitute kind of the end of my series of drills of the week on my YouTube channel, at least for the near future. We have 25 of them, and while it was over 11 years ago that I started this video series with no intention of ever publishing anything or putting this out there other than just kind of an experiment with this newfound technology of social media and video streaming, I find myself sitting on top of these 25 drills as kind of a volume 1, if you will, of drills of the week. So when my lovely wife gets around to doing this one finally and puts it up on chrisolka.com on the web store as a downloadable PDF, that will constitute drills of the week volume 1. And then I will go about the process of crafting more content on some of the other series that are on my channel. Most importantly, pro tips. I got a ton of those. I think they're very helpful, potentially. And the T&E, the instrument reviews and product reviews. And I want to kind of build that content on the channel as well. So I think that's it for now. It's been a fantastic 11 years. I want to thank you all for the support and encouragement that I've gotten from you all around the world, both in person and virtually in the comments section or in emails or whatever, people reaching out to me to let me know that these things have helped them. That's a blessing to me. I mean, it does my heart good. I'll put it this way without getting too choked up, to know that I can be a help to you, because I've been so blessed with so many people that have been helpful to me in my career and pursuits as a musician and as a person, that I can give back something in a positive way to the tuba community that I know and love. It does me good to know that. So the last thing I want to say is thank you to my dear wife, Kimberly. During the pandemic, she reinvented herself as a music publisher, a transcriptionist, and a web designer. And she has been the one that's lit a fire under my lazy butt and got me into gear in doing something that I have a passion for, as you can tell, and I couldn't do it without her. So thank you, baby. I love you for it. Thank you all once again for checking out the Drill of the Week series, and I hope to see you later. I hope that this video is a help. Take care.